Hello! I think I filmed this video probably about 6 or 7 months ago and thought that I lost the footage. Long story short, I was perusing through all of the random video files that I have on my computer, and luckily it was there. This is a butcher block table, polyurethane and stain combination on the entire table.
This was not optimal.
Whenever someone is cooking, they have a nice butcher knife that they cut into their butcher block, and then pieces of polyurethane will actually get into your food. Not safe. Don't do that. So they asked me to restore it for them. Let's take a look at what I did. By the way, this method is, this is what I did. You don't have to do it this way, but this is what I did. As you see, here is the table. It has a really nice, thick butcher block top, and you see there's a scrape along one side. I'm not really sure what this is from. The owner of the table actually didn't know either. But it's a very thick top, full solid wood, but polyurethane nonetheless. So we had to start off by completely disassembling it. And yes, it was very heavy, but completely disassemble it, and you see I take all of the pieces and put them in my nice handy dandy magnetic parts tray there and start the endless task of sanding. And I sand it away, and as you see, it's very thick. I think I sat on that one spot prior to the time lapse for at least 5 minutes. And we just get to go and we start sanding every piece down. Everything had to get sanded down because the finish that the customer wanted was actually going to be nothing similar and could not be covered up for the way we were going to do this. So everything had to go down back to the bare grain. I actually took this and actually raised the grain a little bit with a wet sanding and got it to a 220 wet sanded on the top, and it made things very, very smooth. So I just made sure to continue and make sure that everything was really dry and was really sanded whenever we wanted to start the conditioning process. We took a look at all the pieces that we had together, and it seemed like everything was going to come out very nicely. We were able to keep the shape, and nothing got hurt. The butcher block top, as you see, there were a couple of spots. That's just from wear and tear prior to us getting it. I used a butcher block conditioner on the top because this is the best way. It has things like beeswax and coconut oil and things that are natural that you're able to put on this and actually seal the butcher block, but it's also non-toxic if you're going to try and cook or prepare meals on top of it. Now, this concoction that I made for a gray type of coloring, we'll just call it a stain for this instance, was actually built. I kind of just was messing around with some different things, and I think it has black paint, paint thinner, water, and I think on the legs I even used the butcher block conditioner just to see what it was going to do a couple of times just to try and make a different color. However, but we went and put it on every piece that was going to be seen, made sure to get any edge that was going to come out, any edge that was going to be shown, even on the sides of the drawers as the drawers would be pulled out. We made sure to get all of those pieces and parts. If the drawer was pulled out and you could see on the inside of the drawer, on the drawer casing, we wanted to make sure that it was covered there too. But as you see, you slather it on, just throw it on there very sloppily, and then make sure it's all even, and then wipe it off so that it makes a clean swipe mark and doesn't show any of the brush marks. I actually went through with a rag and applied this to each one of the slats of the trays that go underneath the table. This was probably the most tedious work I've ever done in my entire life, but well worth it whenever you see the final product. Whenever we went through to go and finish this, on the bottom we actually did use a spar urethane, and the finish was a little bit shiny for what I would have wanted, but it ended up working out okay because the customer actually would have preferred this nonetheless. So we just went through the process of a couple of coats, sanding in between each one, but it still gave it a nice enough sheen on the bottom of it to have a decent contrast from the lack of sheen on the top part, on the top butcher block. Then we needed to go back through and actually start assembling the table back together. Luckily, I kept all of those pieces and parts in my handy-dandy magnetic parts tray, and put everything back together the same way it came to me. We made sure to get everything nice and leveled off for those trays so that everything could be exactly the way it was. And then we just stepped back and looked at our progress. You see here, I didn't have the hardware in there quite yet, but we still wanted to make sure that everything was there and put together so that it would actually stand up by itself and not fall. That would be bad. So we were taking a look at everything, and as you see, it was a nice contrast between the dark bottom and the bright wood on the top. This is exactly what the customer was wanting to have happen, and they were very pleased with it. The knobs that were on the side for holding towels, I didn't like those, so I replaced those with some hook hardware, and I put some nice squared off knobs for the drawer pulls. And this is the result. As you see on the floor there, it matches the gray wash that's there, and with it again contrasting so that it really pops and makes that center focus point in the middle of the kitchen. So if you're interested in doing something like this, I really want to know about it. If you have questions on what I did, trust me, I am no expert, but I did it. And I mean, if I can do it, you can, that's for sure. But if you had any questions, leave them down in the comments, tag me. Here's the Instagram down here. And yeah, just let me know what you think. Have a good one.